Properly educating children. September 25, 2014. One of the best pieces of advice we can offer any conscious seeker is not to allow your daily routine to drain your sense of love or positivity. You're on the earth to create and contribute to a wealth of important and needed changes, but you can't do this properly if you allow your light to fizzle by adhering to strict, dull schedules that don't fill you with nearly as much passion or wholeness as letting yourselves be free in the realest and purest sense. The magnificent changes you're on the earth to make will require passion and inspiration, and the more passionate you are about contributing to humanity's ongoing conscious revolution, the more you'll naturally get done because you'll be excited about doing it. Excitement and enthusiasm are more important than we could hope to express, and when you're having difficulty finding the elated passion so many of you seek, the best thing you can do is to get out and rekindle the spark that seems to have been lost. You're capable of far more than you realize or give yourselves credit for, and you don't gain anything by forcing yourselves into routines that don't work for you. Only you can stop yourselves. You can let yourselves soar by doing the things you enjoy the most, the things that fill you with a greater level of passionate inspiration to contribute to humanity's ascension, and as you're learning, you're the only ones who can stop yourselves from creating change. You're the only ones who can keep yourselves from doing all of the divinely inspired things you're on the earth to do, and there's a lot of truth to the idea that you can be your own worst enemy. Nobody outside of you can keep you from creating the changes you've waited to see, both inner and outer, only you can stop yourselves. As easy as it can be to keep yourselves from physically and spiritually soaring, you truly have no more reason to do so in this potent time of individual and collective transformation. Enlightenment is spreading all across your little planet, and it's doing so as a partial result of the passionate efforts of each of you who recognize that divinely inspired changes need made and seek to do anything and everything you can to make them. It's time for peace to sweep across your planet, and it's time for full-on justice to precede this peace. Time is running out in regards to all of the changes that need made, because you're collectively reaching a state of consciousness where time as you currently perceive and define it will no longer exist. Time will continue to speed up in preparation for its full-on disintegration from your perception, and with each day that passes, you inch nearer and nearer to your ultimate goal, your ultimate destination, which, for now, is ascension. While many of you are understandably excited about reaching the fifth dimension, we want you to know that your journey of dimensional exploration will have just begun from there. You'll have just started creating all of the divinely inspired changes that'll be required before you can really start enjoying yourselves and your experiences, and your hunger for a higher state of consciousness and everything that comes with it will continue to grow as you continue evolving. The more enlightened you become, the more enlightenment you'll seek, and simply reaching the fifth dimension won't be enough for you. You'll want to continually grow and explore what the next higher realm has to offer, and your journey won't be over until you're back with Source, who exists far beyond any describable or discernible higher realm. We don't have much of an idea of what it's like to exist in these realms, because we too are held up in distorted realms that are purer than the third dimension, but lower compared to Source's infinite and omnipotent realms. We're in a much higher, more spiritually aware state of consciousness than humanity or any other third-dimensional civilization, but we, like you, still have a lot to learn before we're back in the completely undistorted realms of Source. With all of this said, we'll answer the question we've been given on this day. Question: homeschooling children. What insight is there from your higher self or guides about how to educate at a time when there isn't a community established to healthfully raise children? My concerns are really just about the socializing, so I'm curious what your Oversoul teachings would have to say about that, because homeschooling in a lot of places can be very lonely. So lonely in fact that you almost feel selfish as a parent keeping your child from developing social skills that they would get in school, even if the school system does not match the way a child develops nor nurtures them. From our perspective, the problem with your current education system is that it doesn't allow for a child's creativity or individuality to be expressed as much as it could. There is also the issue of what we'll call classroom divisiveness, which causes many children to act out and fight each other instead of embracing the loving peace most of them came to the earth with. There are a lot of things wrong with your education system as it currently stands, and chief among them are the manner in which children treat each other in your current day and age and the lack of consequences for and awareness of this behavior. You, dear reader, are understandably worried about social issues, and we want you to know that there are ways to make sure your child has a healthy social life without exposing them to the pains that can come with attending public school. There are plenty of things you can do to enrich your child's social life, and one of the best things is to make sure they spend plenty of time with family. Family is more important than most souls realize, and your child will benefit from spending time and gaining the enriching social experience that'll result. There are also various programs for children who are homeschooled that revolve around interacting and socializing with other homeschool children, and we highly recommend you look into one of these programs if you truly desire to homeschool your child. There's nothing wrong with homeschool from our perspective, and in fact, it can help your child gain a leg up in your difficult world. Any difficulty along the way of homeschooling your child is meant to be taken in stride, because nothing worthwhile will come your way overnight. Some hard work will have to be put in to educate your child the way you want to see them educated, and as difficult as it might be, we are confident that you have it in you to do what needs to be done to properly educate your child and make sure they go out into your world with a firm understanding of the way it works and what they can do to make it better. Every child's gifts are intended to be praised, cherished, and utilized, and your current public education system doesn't respect or celebrate a child's individuality as much as it forces them into preconditioned perceptual boxes that most children have a lot of difficulty fitting into. Nurture your child, give them the attention they require to thrive on your planet, and let them know that interacting with other children is as important as their education. We recommend you go out of your way to take your child to parks, social events, etc., so they can experience the social interaction that'll help them exist on your world without feeling alienated from the rest of society, and however difficult it can be to let them go, this may be required at times despite their homeschooling. There'll be times when they embrace going out into the world, and while we obviously speak for when they're older, these times will grace you nonetheless, and we recommend being strong when they do. We understand and empathize with the fact that it can be difficult to let them do their own thing, but this'll help them thrive as much as educating them yourself. Social interaction is necessary for a soul's physical and spiritual growth, and you and your child will be very glad you allowed them the interaction with others they require. Alternative spiritual education. As far as the actual education goes, we recommend mixing alternative and spiritual themes into your child's education so they grow up with a unique understanding of how the world around them and the universe as a whole functions. Allow them a peek into the advanced knowledge so many seekers have strived to uncover, because your future is nothing like you might expect, and the spiritual knowledge you can teach your child will be very needed. Your child will benefit enormously from your integration of spirituality into your lessons, and for the most part, you'll discover the best things to teach them and the best teaching methods, as you go about the homeschooling process. You'll find things that work for you and things that don't, and at the end of it all, you'll be more than glad you made an effort to teach your child things they can't be taught in school. The public education system has a lot of catching up to do in terms of the things it teaches children and the methods it uses to teach them, and we're confident that you, dear reader, will be able to teach your child everything they need to know, while at the same time, allowing them the social interaction every child enjoys, deserves, and requires. We'll make our final expressions for this communication with appreciation for the number of seekers who strive to educate their children properly instead of letting the system flatten their greater perception. Your children will contribute to your new society just as much as all of you will, and this is in part why properly educating them is so important. Your schools do the best they can with the limitations they're forced to deal with, but educating your children yourselves will help you make sure no limitation or hindrance of their unique, creative abilities is involved. Your children have a lot of potential to do a lot of great things, but their potential will fizzle out if it isn't nurtured and allowed to grow. You'll grow as you help your children grow, and you'll learn essential lessons related to their growth that, in the end, you'll find you needed to learn for your and their advancement. Thank you to my higher self and spiritual guides. Channeled through Wes Anak. cultureofawareness.com